Have you ever heard about the Big Five? I'm not talking about the Big Five that you need to see if you go on a safari in Africa. In this video I will tell you what is a Big Five personality test, what you can learn about yourself through using it, and how it can improve your life through better happiness and career success. So let's deep dive into you. My name is Greg Engelbert. I've had about a 20-year corporate career where I went from being a trainee to eventually a managing director, vice president. And I went from managing myself to eventually managing about 1,000 people. Today I'm a master coach helping people, teams and organizations to know themselves, to design their future selves, and to become their future selves. The Big Five model, also known as the five-factor model or the ocean model, is a very well-established model to know human personality traits. It proposes that there are 5 fundamental dimensions or traits that can explain most of your personality. And it comes with a nice acronym, OCEAN, which is for openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and Neuroticism. The historical background of the Big Five model dates back all the way to the late 19th century, but particularly in the 1960s and 70s, where a lot of researchers started to categorize a lot of human personality traits. And through different steps of reducing the number of traits, eventually in the 1980s, that's when the Big Five model emerged. The Big Five model has been deeply influenced by the lexical hypothesis. The lexical hypothesis is about the fact that most of our traits are represented in the language that we use. So the methodology was to research the most used words in our vocabularies that were about expressing personality traits between people. And through factor analysis, they eventually came to those 5 fundamental traits which are part of the Big Five. The Big Five traits have been widely used and validated in psychological studies, including personality research, clinical psychology, organizational psychology, and social psychology. For instance, various studies which have been done in a number of countries have validated the fact that those 5 traits show up in a variety of cultures and environments. It's also been shown to be relatively stable over time when we're measuring adults over a period of time. But that just might be because the sample was of people who were not particularly changing. There's also been twin and family studies which are providing some evidence that there are some genetics involved in the 5 traits. Individual differences in our personality traits are impacted by genetics, but also the environment in which we live. Those studies came back with heritability estimates ranging from 40 to 60% of our personality traits. It's also shown some predictive power in different life domains. The traits have been linked to academic and job performance, relationship satisfaction, health outcomes, and even longevity. And there are correlations between the ways that each of the traits works between each other. And there is a link below for taking the test. It's a free resource, so go take a look at it right now, or you can do it after we go through the different traits. A few points to make sure that you interpret your test results accurately. So the Big Five represents dimensions or spectrums. Those are not black and white categories. People are complex, and the traits can manifest themselves in different ways through different situations. So accept that your personality is multifaceted. Look for patterns and connections between the traits to get a holistic understanding. Use the results as a starting point for self-reflection. Consider if the description and interpretations align with your self-perception of those traits, and reflect upon your life experiences and how they might have shaped you into having those traits. Also engage in conversation with trusted friends, family, people who you know and you trust, because their feedback will help you to really understand if your self-perception is aligned and whether what you see in the result of your test is actually making sense to you. And identify areas where you might want to enhance certain traits or develop new skills. If you find it challenging to interpret and understand your results, then think about having a professional help you with that. That can be a therapist, it can be a counselor, or it can be a coach. The first trait is openness to experience, and it reflects a person's inclination towards imagination, creativity, intellectual curiosity, and appreciation for art, beauty, and unconventional ideas. High scorers tend to be open-minded, adventurous, and eager to explore new possibilities. There are some subcategories under this factor. The first one is imagination, and for those people who have a lot of imagination, the world is just a little bit too bland as it is. So high scorer on imagination will imagine a world of fantasy which is more vibrant, more interesting. And low scorers are more oriented towards facts. The second subcategory is artistic interest. It's having an interest in artificial and natural beauty. Low scorer would lack interest in aesthetics and interest in art. The third point is about emotionality, and it's about our capacity to have access to our own feelings. And low scorers would have less access to their own feelings and also less ability to express their emotions openly. Then you have adventurousness. High levels of adventurousness are for people who like to have big adventures, to try new things, new activities, try to foreign lands, and experience different things. The low scorer prefer to stick to routines that they know about. Then you have intellect, with people who like to play a lot with ideas. It's people who are open to new and unusual ideas. People who score low on intellect are more interested in people or things that they can touch. Intellect is an intellectual style, it's not about the ability. Then you have liberalism, which is the capacity that we have to challenge the status quo. Conformity to tradition will go with people who score low. Openness to experience is positively correlated to happiness, and it is also positively correlated with career success, especially for creative and innovative fields. Conscientiousness is characterized by traits such as organization, responsibility, self-discipline, and goal-directed behavior. And there are a few sub-factors that are being measured too. Self-efficacy describes confidence in one's ability to accomplish things. High scorers believe that they have the intelligence, the drive, and self-control necessary for achieving success. Then you have orderliness. People scoring high are people who live well organized. They have routines, schedules, and they keep lists and make plans. Then there is a sense of duty. People scoring high have a high sense of moral obligation. But the people scoring low finds contracts, rules, and regulations slightly overbearing. Then there is drive. People with high scores on this are driving very hard towards excellence in everything that they do in their life. And that might be to the point of single-mindedness and obsession with work. But the low scorers are happy with a minimum amount of work. Then you have self-discipline. People who score high manage to overcome the resistance that they have in starting new tasks or doing things which might be a bit difficult. And they manage to stay away from procrastination and obstacles. People scoring low will procrastinate quite a lot and really find it hard to achieve anything. Then you have cautiousness. High cautious people take their time before they take decisions. Whereas low scorers often do and say things that come first to their mind. Conscientiousness is positively correlated to happiness in life and also to career success. You like this video so far? Then you know what to do, and also subscribe and put the notifications on if you want to receive content like this every week. If you want to learn more about the Big Five, then check out the videos in the description from other famous YouTubers. Extraversion represents the extent to which a person seeks and thrives in social interactions. High scorers are sociable, outgoing, energetic, and tend to enjoy the company of others. They may also be assertive and seek excitement and stimulation. There are 5 sub-factors contributing to extraversion. The first one is friendliness. High scorers will be very friendly with others and have a natural interest in others. Low scorers are not necessarily hostile towards others, but they are more reserved. They don't want to really interact easily with others. Then you can be gregarious, which means that you do enjoy being with other people and connecting, and the conversation of others interests you a lot, which means that you want a lot of people around you. Whereas low scorers will feel overwhelmed with a lot of people around them. Then you have assertiveness. High scorers like to speak out, take charge, lead activities. Low scorers tend not to talk too much and let others lead activities in a group. Then you have activity. High scorers live high-paced, busy lives, whereas a low scorer will be living at a more leisurely pace and slower life. High scorers on this scale are easily bored without high levels of stimulation. Low scorers are overwhelmed by noise, a lot of agitation around them, and they're not looking for thrill-seeking. High level of extraversion are positively correlated with having a happier life and also with career success, though for roles which really demand extraversion. Agreeableness reflects a person's tendency to be compassionate, cooperative, empathetic, and considerate of other needs and feelings. Those high in agreeableness are often friendly, trusting, and inclined towards harmonious relationships. There are 6 sub-factors contributing to agreeableness. First is the trust level. People with high trust believe that other people are fair, honest, and they have good intentions. High scorers on this scale see no need for pretense or manipulation when dealing with others, and they are therefore candid, frank, and sincere. And low scorer believes that a certain amount of deception in social interaction is actually necessary. Altruistic people find helping other people genuinely rewarding. High scorers on this element dislike confrontations, and low scorers are more likely to intimidate others to get their way. High scorers on this scale do not like to claim that they are better than others, whereas low scorers are more likely to describe themselves as superior, and they might be perceived as arrogant. Sympathetic people tend to feel the pain of others and have a sense of pity for others, whereas low scorers are not affected strongly by human suffering. They are more focused on objective judgments based on reason. Agreeableness is positively correlated with happiness, and is quite neutral with regards to career success. Neuroticism pertains to the tendency for experiencing negative emotions such as anxiety, depression, mood swings, and emotional instability. Individuals high on neuroticism may be experiencing stress, worry, and self-doubt. There are 6 subfactors contributing to neuroticism. The first one is anxiety. The fight or flight system of anxious individuals tends to be activated very easily. Persons low in anxiety are generally calm and fearless. Persons scoring high in anger are getting really angry when things don't go their way, whereas low scorers don't tend to be angry easily or often. Depression is a tendency to feel sad, dejected, and discouraged. High scorers lack energy and have difficulty initiating tasks, whereas low scorers tend to be free from those feelings. Self-conscious individuals are very aware of what others think of them. They are easily embarrassed and often feel ashamed. Low scorers, in contrast, do not feel that people are after them or looking at them and judging them. Immoderate individuals feel strong cravings and they have a lot of difficulty to resist them. For low scorers, it will be rare to overindulge. High scorers on vulnerability are feeling panic, confusion, helplessness when under pressure, whereas a low scorer are more poised and self-confidence when under stress. Neuroticism is negatively correlated with happiness in life. And it's also, generally speaking, negatively correlated with career success, though not for every role. So what's the point of the big 5 traits? First, you understand yourself better, which is allowing you to embrace the person that you are and be more authentic. And in turn, this brings some level of self-acceptance, and self-acceptance has a direct relationship with self-esteem. Second, it improves your relationships. Because if you understand yourself better, then you understand others better. Having this empathy and insight about yourself helps you to have deeper connections with others. Third, you will make better decisions. Because you will align your decision to your authentic self, or at the very least you will be able to understand what are the biases that you have through your personality traits. Fourth, you can set realistic goals, because you're able to align with your strengths with who you are instead of fighting against who you are. Like if you want to be a singer, but you are a complete introvert. That doesn't work. Fifth, you can manage your stress and emotional well-being better. You can proactively address the stressors that you have and also build emotional regulation based on the triggers that you have for emotional responses attached to your traits. A key point to share with you is that nothing is set in stone. Sure, you won't be able to move from being a complete extrovert to being a complete introvert and vice versa. But each factor has a range in which you can operate, a minimum and a maximum. And that depends on the situation you face and the evolution of your life and how much you are trying to explore this range. Now that we have covered in depth each factor, there are a few limitations that you might want to consider when using the Big Five. It provides a general framework, but may not capture the nuances, the variations, and unique traits that make each person distinct. Personality is shaped by a combination of genetic, environmental, and cultural factors, which are not fully captured here. Personality can evolve and change in response to life experiences, personal growth, and developmental processes. It does not address values, beliefs, self-esteem, self-efficacy, or motivations, which can also impact behavior and well-being. It does not tell you why you are the way you are. Only through understanding the root of your behaviors can you decide and find ways of changing them. And next week we will explore what are the different ways that you can actually move the needle for each one of the Big Five traits. I will leave you with a quote from Aristotle, an ancient Greece philosopher. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Another way of knowing yourself is to work on your values, your strengths, your interests, and your purpose. You might be interested in this video if you want to know more.